Everything you have been taught about the dawn of man is a lie. You were told civilization began in the river valleys of Mesopotamia, that our ancestors were primitive hunters, fumbling their way out of the Stone Age. But what if that wasn't the beginning? What if it was a reboot? Imagine a world before our own, a global empire whose architects commanded a lost science of sound and stone, who rode to war on armored mammoths, and who built monuments so vast they still defy our understanding. And incredibly, this isn't a myth. This is the world that was stolen from us, erased by a cataclysm that reset human history, leaving only the faintest, most tantalizing whispers of the truth. The legends of a golden age, of a great flood, and of gods who walked the earth. Let's journey back 12,800 years into the past. In our timeline, this was a moment of hope. The Great Ice Age was ending. The glaciers were in full retreat, and a warmer, wetter world was emerging. Vast herds of megafauna roamed continents teeming with possibility. Woolly mammoths, saber-toothed cats, and giant ground sloths. Early human beings were on the cusp of a revolution. But then, the sky fell. Suddenly, a swarm of cometary fragments, torn from a much larger body, slammed into the North American ice sheet. The impact was planetary in scale. It triggered unimaginable floods. It plunged the world back into a 1,000-year winter, known as the Younger Dryas. And it wiped the great beasts from the face of the earth. Human development was thrown violently into reverse. Our ancestors were scattered, our progress shattered. But imagine, for a moment, a different roll of the cosmic dice. Imagine the comet's trajectory was off by a single, infinitesimal degree. What if it missed? What if the cataclysm that defined our world never happened? In this world without a reset, humanity doesn't just survive, it ascends. The warming continues unabated. The great beasts thrive. And civilization doesn't rise in the arid plains of the Middle East, but in a lost, sunken paradise, a place called Sundaland. This vast, fertile landmass becomes the heart of the world's first thalassocracy, an empire built entirely on the sea. Their cities were not simple mud brick villages. They were sprawling networks of canals and megalithic ports, centers of a truly global maritime trade, stretching from the coast of Africa to the shores of the Americas. And at the center of this web of power, there was a ruling class unlike any other. They were not kings or emperors in the way we understand them. They were a secretive, quasi-religious order who called themselves the Keepers. Their world capital is a place you know, but not as you've ever seen it. In Turkey, the site of Göbekli Tepe is not some mysterious ruin, deliberately buried thousands of years ago. Here, it is the unburied eye, the spiritual and scientific nucleus of the global empire. Imagine it, gleaming under the Anatolian sun, a humming complex of polished calcite and obsidian pillars, aligned to the stars with a precision that would not be seen again for 10,000 years. From this Vatican of forbidden knowledge, the keepers govern. Their power comes from a terrifying secret, a technology they guard with zealous devotion. Sonic engineering. They discovered that by harnessing specific resonant frequencies, they could manipulate the very fabric of matter, neutralizing gravity to lift and shape multi-ton blocks of stone as if they were clay. This is how their impossible structures were built. But this power comes at a terrible price. The energy source, drawn from deep within the Earth's geothermal vents, is violently unstable. A miscalculation could liquefy a mountain. A catastrophic failure could shatter an entire continent. This danger is the justification for their rigid rule. Humanity, they believe, cannot be trusted with this fire of the gods. And so, they created a world divided. The vast majority of mankind lives in a state of managed, agrarian bliss. Their lives are comfortable, their minds untroubled by the dangerous truths of the universe. And then there are the keepers, those who alone wield the power. This secrecy allows them to maintain a global peace, a perfectly ordered world. And in this world, the beasts of myth walk beside man. With no extinction event, the megafauna flourish, and the keepers tame them. The sight of a keeper caravan crossing the plains of North America is a thing of awe and of terror. Warriors in ornate robes sit high atop colossal woolly mammoths, their bodies clad in obsidian and gold armor, their tusks inscribed with glowing symbols of power. These are not beasts of burden. They are living engines of war and symbols of the keeper's absolute dominion over the natural world. But their perfect world is built on a foundation of hubris. By hoarding knowledge, they have created stagnation. By treating the rest of humanity as children, they have sown the seeds of resentment. In the far-flung colonies, whispers turn to rebellion. The keepers, in their quest to protect humanity from its own destructive nature, have created a gilded cage, and the bars are beginning to bend. In the end, the world of the keepers was not destroyed by a comet from the heavens, but by the slow poison of their own arrogance. Their refusal to share knowledge, their belief that only they could be trusted with power, led not to an eternal golden age. It led to internal decay, to civil war, and to a slow, agonizing collapse. Their downfall left the world shattered, their global network broken, their advanced knowledge lost to the ages. The survivors, scattered and broken, were thrown back into the dark. And this, perhaps, is the most mind-bending revelation of all. The megalithic ruins that dot our planet, the ones mainstream archaeology cannot explain, are not the first primitive steps of our civilization. They are the tombstones of theirs. They are the last fading echoes of a species that reached for the stars and fell, leaving us, their descendants, to start all over again in the mud, haunted by fractured memories of a world before us. So you see, our history is not a story of progress. It is the story of a long, slow recovery. So the question remains, if this advanced civilization had survived, would their rigid control and secrecy have ultimately saved humanity, or was their collapse inevitable? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.